The German free speech crackdown and its implications. In a recent 60 Minutes interview, CBS correspondent Sharon Alfonsi explored Germany's stringent approach to regulating online speech, highlighting the nation's efforts to do what they are calling curbing hate speech and offensive content on the internet. The segment featured German state prosecutors who discussed the legal boundaries of free expression in the country. Dr. Matthias Fink, one of the prosecutors, noted that many Germans are surprised to learn that certain online statements are illegal, stating, "The people are surprised that this is really illegal, to post these kind of words. They don't think it was illegal. And they say, no, that's my free speech." And we say, no, you have free speech as well, but it also has its limits. The whole interview was an extremely authoritarian, sympathetic exercise in circular logic. The prosecutors argued that silencing insults both in person and online line are necessary for the democratic process to continue. Here is the worst of the interview.
Restricting free speech, it's a threat to democracy.
Free speech needs boundaries. And in the case of Germany, these boundaries are part of our constitution. Without boundaries, a very small group of people can rely on endless freedom to say anything that they want, while everyone else is scared and intimidated.
And your fear is that if people are freely attacked online, that they'll withdraw from the discussion.
This is not only a fear, it's already taking place. Already half of the internet users in Germany are afraid to express their political opinion, and they rarely participate in public debates online anymore. Half of the internet users.
This interview sheds light on Germany's increasingly authoritarian stance on online speech. Prosecutors proudly detailed how citizens have been arrested for criticizing politicians or making offensive remarks online, framing it as a necessary measure to combat hate speech and misinformation, and for citizens to not be afraid to participate in the democratic process. The mainstream narrative justifies these crackdowns as protections against extremism, but in reality they serve as tools to silence dissent and enforce ideological conformity. This is not about stopping real harm. It's about criminalizing opposition. This all represents an increase in what was already a version of free speech that patriotic Americans would hardly recognize. Vice President J.D. Vance condemned these policies as Orwellian, warning that such restrictions could strain U.S.-European relations. Elon Musk went further, calling out 60 Minutes itself for its deceptive framing of the issue, even suggesting that those responsible for manipulating the segment deserve prison. But this issue isn't just about Germany. The ideology behind it is already creeping into Western nations, especially the United States. The same arguments used to justify prosecuting speech in Germany are echoed by American media, politicians, and corporations who push DEI initiatives, misinformation policies, and equity-driven censorship. The broader context, the DEI-tied suppression of dissent. Just as we've broken down before, DEI is not about equal rights, it is about ideological supremacy. Germany's prosecution of speech follows the same playbook. Redefine words. Hate speech now includes criticism of political figures. Expand control. Social media companies act as government enforcers, flagging problematic speech. Punish dissenters. Citizens arrested for expressing political opinions. Claim moral high ground. This is for your safety, not control. This is the same sleight of hand used by the media to argue that restricting DEI is an attack on civil rights, when in reality, DEI itself undermines those very rights by promoting discrimination under the banner of equity, what this means for America. If the free world does not push back against this trend, we will see similar measures institutionalized in the U.S. The suppression of speech in Germany is a cautionary tale, one that must be understood not just as a foreign policy issue, but as a warning for what is already happening at home. Free speech is not a privilege granted by the state, it is a fundamental right. And any ideology that seeks to police words, thoughts, and opinions in the name of justice is not about justice at all. It is about control. This is why voices like J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, and others who recognize the stakes of this battle must be taken seriously. It is not just Germany's fight, it is ours.